Minority Leader. The Minority Leader.
Asante mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, jambo la kwanza nataka kusema ni kuwatakia kila laheri wale wajane walioachwa nyuma, kwa wao na watoto wao na wajukuu wao na vitukuu vyao, kwamba tuna imani ya kwamba Mwenyezi Mungu atalaza imani ya marehemu mahali pema walipolala wema. Bwana Speaker, namfahamu Leonard kwa miaka mingi. Alikuwa ni mtu muungwana. Hata hilo jambo la kusema kwamba je, huu ni ungwana, ni kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe alikuwa na tabia zake ambazo alikuwa na tabia tunaweza sema ni za heshima, na kama ni za heshima basi zilikuwa za ungwana. Alikuwa si mtu wa kutaka mambo ya fujo fujo. Alikuwa yeye saa zote ni mtu anajaribu ku-encourage society ama jamii ili iwe inaweza kutenda vyema katika maisha yao. Bwana Speaker, kijiji kinachoitwa Freetown kule Kisauni ambako wale wazee wake walikutoka, mzee Mambo mwenyewe, ni kusema ni mahali pa heshima. Japokuwa siku hizi kumekuwa na watu wengi, lakini mahali pa Freetown panajulikana mpaka hivi sasa alipoweza kuzaliwa. Jambo ambalo tunaweza kufanya kukumbuka kwamba kulikuwa na shujaa Leonard Mambo Mbotela ni kwamba serikali iweze kuangalia kama itakuwa ni barabara moja. Vile tunaona mashujaa wetu wengi hapa wamepewa majina katika hizi barabara za Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, Leonard Mambo ameishi Nairobi wakati wake mwingi sana, na ingekuwa jambo zuri ikiwa hapa Nairobi ndugu yetu Sakaja akiwa kama governor wa Nairobi kushirikiana na wenzake waweze kutafuta barabara nzuri ambayo inaweza kujulikana watu kila wakati wote, kama vile Harry Thuku Road ama Jomo Kenyatta Avenue ama barabara yoyote, ili kuona kwamba hata baada ya miaka mingapi itakayokuja ikipita, jina la Leonard Mambo Mbotela liwe litaweza kujulikana. Na ikiwa hatutafanya hivyo, basi itakuwa si ungwana, kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe hapo alipo atauliza, je, ni huu ungwana? Ikiwa mimi niliwatendea haya yote, nikawa nawaeleza njia ya kwenda ni ipi, leo hata hamwezi kunikumbuka katika miaka yangu niliokuwa na nyinyi na nikajaribu kutengeza mazuri. Hayo maswali itabidi tujibu. Na sasa
30 seconds, leader, to conclude.
Kukosa kujibu haya maswali, naona suluhu kubwa ni kuona kwamba tumeweza kumkabidhi barabara fulani iitwe jina lake, ili jina lake liweze kuishi kwa muda mrefu katika Wakenya. Asante Bwana Speaker.
Senator Esi.
Asante sana Bwana Speaker kwa kunipa nafasi hii. Ningependa nami kumkumbuka marehemu Mambo Mbotela na kutuma pole zangu kwenye familia, na kama taifa tunazidi kumkumbuka. Nilikutana na Mambo Mbotela mwaka uliopita nilipokuwa nikifuatilia mambo ya shujaa huko Kisii Morangiti, na nilipoenda katika afisi zile za National Heroes Council nilimpata pale, na siku hiyo walikuwa wameitenga ili kunipokea. Nilifurahishwa na jinsi ambayo nilipokelewa pale, na mzee Mambo Mbotela alikuwa mmoja wa wale ambao waliniita na kuomba tuweze kupigwa picha pamoja nikikabidhiwa ile award ambayo Morangiti alikuwa amepewa. Kwa hayo nitamkumbuka kama kiongozi ambaye anakuwa, na ninajua hivi sasa tuna waandishi kwenye habari ambao wanazungumzia mambo tofauti tofauti. Huko Kisii kuna ambaye anajaribu kumkaribia, huwa ana kipindi kama hicho katika redio ya Egesa, anaitwa Sorobi Moturi, lakini yeye ana kipindi kama hicho cha Jeu ni ungwana lakini kwa lugha ya Kikisii. Ningependa kumtambua pia na wengi ambao wanafuata hatua hizi za marehemu Mambo Mbotela. Mwenyezi Mungu airaze roho yake pema peponi. Asante.
Senator Olekina.
Mheshimiwa Spika, ungwana kumlazimisha what do you call a whip? What do you call a whip?
Senator Ledama, choose your language and stick to it.
Mheshimiwa Spika, je, huu ni ungwana kumlazimisha kiranja walio wachache kuzungumza Kiswahili? Mheshimiwa Spika, leo hii tunaweka kumbukumbu ya milele tukimkumbuka Leonard Mambo Mbotela, mtangazaji ambaye Kenya hii tutamkumbuka akuwa mmoja wao ambaye alitumia ucheshi ili kuweza kutukosoa katika maadili yetu kama wana Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, nakumbuka vizuri kabisa ya kwamba nilisoma ya kwamba mwaka wa 1982 wakati wa mapinduzi ya Kenya alilazimika, aliwekwa bunduki hapa, akalazimishwa kusema kwamba serikali imebadilika. Lakini pia alipomaliza aliuliza, je, huu ni ungwana? Kumaanisha ya kwamba tunaweza kweli kutumia ucheshi ili kuweza kukosoa wa Kenya kwa ile mambo ambayo tunafanya. Ni lazima Mheshimiwa Spika, tuhakikishe ya kwamba hizi kumbukumbu ambazo tunaziweka za milele si kumbukumbu ambazo zitabaki kule katika Lang'ata Cemetery. Mimi ningeomba kabisa Kenya hii tuweze kuwaenzi na kuwaheshimu watu ambaye wamejitolea ili kujaribu kutuweka vizuri kama wananchi. Lazima hiyo mwili yake iende ichimbuliwe na iweko mahali ambaye Wakenya wote watakumbuka kwa miaka nenda miaka rudi. Mheshimiwa Spika, leo hii nikisimama hapa, mimi nilimuenzi sana mpaka nikaenda nikasomea uandishi wa habari. Nilipokuwa kule Marekani, jambo ya kwanza ni ambaye nilisomea ni uandishi wa Marekani, na hiyo ilikuwa ni kwa sababu nilikuwa na muenzi aliyetuacha ambaye tunaweka kumbukumbu zake sasa, Leonard Mambo Mbotela. So Mheshimiwa Spika, ningetakia familia yake, majamii wake wote na Wakenya wote heri na fanaka wakiweza kuzungumza na kuweza kuweka hii kumbukumbu ya milele. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante Senator Olekina. Senator Karen Nyamu.
Asante sana Spika. Mimi namkumbuka marehemu Leonard Mambo Mbotela kama mtu mwanahabari ambaye aliongea Kiswahili bora sana na kitamu. Ungesamehewa kufikiria ama kudhani ametoka pwani la Kenya. Nikiwa mtoto mdogo, nakumbuka wazazi wangu waliweka kwenye redio hiki kipindi chake Leonard Mambo Mbotela, na ilitubidi upende usipende ungekaa na umsikize. Na hapo ndipo nilikuja kuwa mwenyewe kufurahia hicho kipindi, na nilikuwa na look forward. Faki anaweza tuambia hivyo ni kusema aje? Natarajia sana, je, hiyo kipindi kingine atakuwa anazungumzia nini? Na alikuwa analenga sana tabia za jamii. Na nakumbuka kitu ambayo ama tabia ambayo yeye alikuwa ameiongelelea. Kwa akili yangu nilikuwa nikienda nikiangalia ama nikiobserve watu wazima, saa hiyo nikiwa mtoto, kama watu wanafanya vitu za ungwana katika ile yeye alikuwa ameiweka iwe kiwango ya ungwana. Na kwa hivyo alichangia pakubwa sana kuweza kuunda tabia za kijamii, na hiyo ni aspect ambayo inakosa sana kwa journalism. kwa utendakazi wa redio na TV. Tungependa wale ambao wako kwa hii industry waweze kujua wana impact vipi society, na wa impact positive, sio kutumiwa na wanasiasa na watu wengine kwa sababu ya fedha. Asante Mr. Speaker.
Senator Hamida.
Asante mstahiki Speaker. Na mimi pia nataka kuomboleza, kutoa rambirambi zangu na kuunga mkono ndugu zangu kwa hichi kifo cha mzee wetu mtaalam wa Kiswahili, mwandishi na mwanahabari Bwana Mambo Mbotela. Bwana Speaker, siwezi kusahau kuwa juzi ni kama alikuja kukuaga. Alikuja tukazungumza na tukapiga picha pamoja, na nakumbuka nikimchezea nikimwambia, na hapa kuna ungwana. Akaniambia hapa kuna ungwana kwa Bwana Speaker, manake amenikaribisha. Na kusema kweli, yani kila nikikumbuka chozi linanitoka kwa kumkumbuka. Kwa hivyo wewe pia Bwana Speaker, nafikiria pia utashukuru kuwa alipata nafasi ya kuja kuzungumza na wewe na kukuaga pia. Bwana Speaker, Bwana Leonard alitutumbiza sana sote tukiwa nyumbani. Tulikuwa tukijikusanya sote tuasubiri tu hicho kipindi chake cha redio na TV, na alitufundisha Kiswahili pia. Hapo pia tulikuwa tukijaribu kujifunza naye Kiswahili. Bwana Mbotela ameacha urithi mkubwa Bwana Speaker. Ameacha urithi wa tasnia ya uandishi na wanahabari Bwana Speaker. Nakumbuka pia vile Senator Oburu nasema alilazimika kutangaza kupitia televisheni kuwa nchi imepinduliwa kwa mwaka 1982, na alikuwa na roho nzito sana, na ilikuwa ni kitu kikubwa sana kwake, kwa yeye kuja kushikwa kwa nguvu kuweza kutangaza. Mchango wake Bwana Speaker utakumbukwa sana Bwana Mbotela. Utakumbukwa kwa njia yoyote ile ya kuendeleza vizazi na vizazi vijavyo kipindi chake, na yeye kuwa alikuwa kwenye tasnia kubwa ya kutuonyesha kuwa wanahabari wake. Mimi tunamwombea Mungu, na nitaomba serikali kuwa iwafadhili familia yake Bwana Mbotela nafasi yoyote kwenye serikali, na iwasaidie, na pia kuna mjane pia ameachwa hapo. Tunaomba Mwenyezi Mungu ailaze roho yake mahala pema, tutasema peponi penye wema. Asante.
Senator Asa Boy.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Speaker, na mimi pia kunipa fursa hii niweze kuchangia kuhusu mzee wetu Leonard Mambo Mbotela, ambaye alikuwa ni mtu maarufu sana, akijulikana katika nchi hii na pia katika nchi za East Africa. Mheshimiwa Speaker, mimi nakumbuka tukiwa wadogo zamani, ilikuwa TV KBC. Wakati wa KBC ilikuwa kifunguliwa nafikiri kwa saa 11 12 hivi, ikifika saa 3 KBC ishafungwa zamani. Siku hizo sisi tukiwa wadogo. Sasa wakati kabla ya habari za saa 1, saa nyingine kwa kileto na Mambo Mbotela akisoma habari. Basi Mheshimiwa Speaker, yani ni mzee mmoja ambaye alikuwa akijulikana sana na sifa zake vizuri sana. Mimi naomba hivi, kama yeye watu wanavyojua kwamba yeye marehemu Leonard Mambo Mbotela ni mtu ambaye alizaliwa sehemu za Freetown, naomba tu hawa Senator wa Mombasa, Senator Mohamed Faki, na Governor wa Mombasa, na wale wabunge wa Mombasa, hasa wa Kisauni, ile shule ambayo inaitwa Freetown wangekaa wakabadilisha jina ikaitwa Leonard Mambo Mbotela Primary School, kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe kwao ni Freetown. Natarajia Mheshimiwa Speaker, naona atakuwa si vibaya sana ile shule ikibadilishwa jina ikiitwa jina Leonard Mambo Mbotela Primary School Freetown, ambapo lile jina litakuwa litaendelea milele na milele mpaka viziti kuu watakaozaliwa watakumbuka kwamba shule ile kulikuwa na shujaa ambaye alikuwa akitangaza katika marudio na alifariki kwa jina la Leonard Mambo Mbotela. Mheshimiwa Spika, kusema la kweli ni mzee mmoja ambaye alikuwa akijulikana sana. Mimi nakumbuka pia kulikuwa na wengine kina Ali Salim Manga, wale ambao mpaka sasa yuko hai, ambaye yeye ni mtu wa mtangazaji maarufu sana. Kina Sami Lui ambao walikuwa ni maarufu, wamebobea, wako mpaka leo. Wamestaafu lakini bado wanatambulikana. Kwa hivyo sitaki kusema mengi Mheshimiwa Spika, bali naomba Senator Mombasa, Senator Faki aweze kukazana sana na Governor wa Mombasa Abdul Samad, waweze kubadilisha ile shule pamoja na MCA wa Mombasa, wapitishe kwamba ile shule ambayo iko Freetown ibadilishwe iitwe Leonard Mambo Mbotela Primary School. Kwa haya machache Mheshimiwa Spika, asante sana.
Senator Eddie.
Ya kwanza Mheshimiwa Spika, ni umerudi katika jumba hili, na wacha nichukue fursa hii mstahili Spika ili nikupe pole zangu, kwa sababu sasa tuko katika jumba ambao ulikuwa unatusaidia kuendelea na kazi zetu hapa, kwa vile ulipoteza baba yako, na naomba Mungu kwamba atakupoza roho. Ya pili, Bwana Spika, na huwa na kama kijana mdogo katika nchi, huwa nashindwa sana kama tutakuwa na wakati sisi kama wa Kenya tutakuwa na maadili mema. Ukiangalia katika katiba yetu sura ya 6 kuna maadili pale ambao tunaashiria ili siku moja Wakenya wanaweza kuwa na maadili mema. Hii ndio mimi ningependa kukumbuka nayo marehemu Leonard Mambo Mbotela, kwa sababu ile kipindi ambao Leonard Mambo Mbotela alikuwa anafanya tukiwashiria, haikuwa kipindi tu, ilikuwa kipindi ambacho ilikuwa inaangazia maadili ya jamii, kwamba licha na kuwa na serikali, licha na kuwa na polisi, inawezekana ili jamii ikuwe na maadili mema. Ile kipindi ya huu ni ungwana, mimi ilikuwa kipindi tu kwangu, hata ingawaje sikuwa nimeenda nao nikikuwa ni kipindi ambacho vile nimeangalia katika YouTube na nimeona watu wakiashiria kwa wingi, nimeona kwamba ni kipindi ambacho kilikuwa kinajaribu kuangazia maneno ya maadili mema katika jamii. Na ukiangalia katika nchi yetu, Bwana Spika, leo watu wana maadili kabisa katika jamii. Ukianza kwanza na wanasiasa, tumekuwa watu ambao tuko na changamoto kubwa sana, hasa ukiangalia mambo ya kuwa watu wenye tamaa katika jamii. Kuna mengi sana tunaweza soma kulingana na yale mafunzo ambao Leonard Mambo alikuwa nayo, kwa watu ambao kwa siasa, kwa watu ambao wako kwa siasa, wafanyi biashara, watu ambao ni watu wa pikipiki. Siku hizi Bwana Spika, hata ukienda katika barabara zetu unapata hata watu wa matatu hawana taadhima, watu hawana ile tunaita utu katika barabara, na hizi ndio vitu ambao Leonard Mambo alikuwa anaongelea. Sasa mimi wakati tunamuomboleza huyu ndugu wetu, naombea familia yake mema, na naomba kwamba Mungu awafariji, lakini kama taifa ile mali kubwa ambayo ametuachia ni tuashirie yale alikuwa anasema wakati ule katika kipindi chake, na tukue watu ambao wana tamaa, sio ya kuwa
30 seconds you conclude your thoughts.
Vile nimesema Bwana Spika, asante sana. Kwa hiyo nasema kwamba kama jamii tusikuwe watu ambao kuna tamaa ya vitu vyetu binafsi kama mali, ilhali tuwe watu ambao wako na tamaa ya kukua na maadili mema ya kujenga jamii ambao kila mtu huenda akakuwa ako na usawa wa kuishi kama binadamu. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Joyce Korir.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Wacha pia nichukue nafasi hii kutoa risala za rambirambi kwa mwendasake Mbotela, pia kutoa risala za rambirambi kwa mheshimiwa wetu Spika kwa kupoteza baba mzazi, na niseme ya kwamba poleni sana, na najua tumepoteza viongozi ambaye wamefanya kazi ya kuifunza jamii na hata kuitunza familia hadi siku ya leo tunaweza kushuhudia matunda ambayo walifanya. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikichukua nafasi ya kipekee ni kusema ya kwamba Mheshimiwa mwendasake Mbotela alikuwa na kipindi ambaye aliweza kuwafunza Wakenya mambo mengi ambayo kwa sahu ningependa kusema ya kwamba kuna mambo mengi ambayo yanaendelea ambayo yanastua jamii na hata nchi kwa ujumla kwa tabia na mambo mengi ambayo yanaendelea mtandaoni, Mheshimiwa Spika, ambayo hata saizi ningependa kusema hakuna ama mtu wa kuarudi tabia ambayo watu wengi wanaenda kinyume na matakwa ya kijiji ama ya jamii. Hivyo basi, Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusema ya kwamba mwendasake Mbotela alifanya kazi nzuri pia katika mambo ya michezo. Alichangia sana kwa mambo ya michezo, na ningependa kusema ya kwamba tumempoteza mtu mashuhuri sana. Hivyo basi ningependa kusema pole kwa familia na kwa nchi nzima. Asanteni Mheshimiwa Spika.
Now, honorable senators will proceed to put the question. That aware that the late Leonard Mambo Mbotela, a renowned media personality, passed away on the 7th of February 2025 at the age of 84. Clerk, before I proceed to conclude the putting of the question, kindly proceed to confirm if we have the requisite quorum. Senator Sifuna? Oh, Senator Mazayo, just approach the chair. Senator Faki, you may proceed to reply before I put the question.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza ningependa kuwashukuru na kuwapongeza maseneta wote ambao wameweza kuchangia hoja hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kupongeza na kuwashukuru maseneta wafuatao: Seneta Cherargei, Seneta Kinyua, Seneta Beatrice Sogola, Seneta Thangwa, Seneta Sifuna, Seneta Chiriot, Seneta Mazayo, Seneta Maina, Seneta Olekina, Seneta Nyamu, Seneta Hamida, Seneta Edi na Seneta Joyce kwa mchango wao na Seneta Uburu kwa mchango wao katika hoja hii. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni wazi kwamba mchango wa mwenda zake Leonard Mambo Mbotela ulikuwa ni mkubwa sana kwa taifa letu, na hivyo basi itakuwa si sawa kwa kusifanywe jambo lolote ambalo litaweza kuliweka jina lake katika nyoyo zetu milele. Kwa mfano, Mheshimiwa Spika, Seneta Boy wa Kwale amesema kuwa shule ya Freetown ambayo iko katika kaunti ya Mombasa itajwe jina la mwenda zake Leonard Mambo Mbotela. Vile vile pia pale Freetown iko hall ambayo pia yaweza kutajwa jina la mwenda zake. Mheshimiwa Spika, na hapa Nairobi pia, kwa sababu Nairobi ni mahali ambapo amekaa na akafanya kazi katika umri wake wote. Kwa hivyo hapa pia ipo haja ya kuwa na kigezo ambacho kitatumika kukumbuka jina lake. Mheshimiwa Spika, tutaiombea roho yake ilale mahala pema peponi. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, honorable senators. I'll now proceed to put the question. Senator Omtata, kindly take your seat. Senator Sigei. The question is as follows: that aware that the late Leonard Mambo Mbotela, a renowned media personality, passed away on the 7th of February 2025 at the age of 84, cognizant that he had an illustrious career in the media spanning over 5 decades and was one of the most influential voices in Kenyan radio, especially through his long-running radio and television program, Jehu Nyungwana. Further, cognizant that his command of the Kiswahili language kept Kenyans informed of many topics, while his exceptional football commentaries on radio brought joy to many people and popularized the sport at a time when live football on television was rare. Appreciating the lasting legacy that he leaves in the media industry and the high esteem in which he was held by colleagues and persons from all walks of life, now therefore the Senate expresses its deep sadness at the death of Mr. Mbotela, records its celebration and appreciation of his remarkable life, and extends its heartfelt sympathy and condolences to his family, friends, and the nation. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, before we move to the next order, I have this communication to make, honorable senators. As you may recall, at the afternoon sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 20th of February 2025, the Senator for Vihiga County, Senator Godfrey Osotsi, CBS, rose on a point of order pursuant to Standing Order 1051 to require the Senator for Busia County, Senator Okia Omtata MP, to substantiate statements made in the course of a debate. The utterances by Senator Omtata MP were made while the Senator was contributing to the motion on the thanks of the Senate on Kenya's attempt for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission. In the point of order, Senator Osotsi MP stated as follows: I think it is important for us to be told more about this janjaweed. My little knowledge about janjaweed is that it is a terrorist group that operates in the Saheli region of Sudan, Chad, and Yemen. Senator Okiya Omtata, whom I respect a lot, and I know he has a lot of information, has said that they have opened an office in Kenya. I think it is a serious matter that even I, as a representative of the people, would like to know more about that. The Senator further stated that have these people opened an office in Kenya, and what action can we take as the representatives of the people? If indeed they're in Kenya, and I do not want to doubt what Senator Omtata is saying, because he has always proven whatever he says, he has researched very well, I think I need to know more about that. From a reading of the Hansard, the statements that Senator Omtata MP was required to substantiate were as follows, and I'll quote: here we are, that today in Nairobi we have the Janjaweed being allowed to open an office. This is a genocidal organ that tried to eliminate black people. It is now on record, it is a matter of public notoriety that the Janjaweed, which has now been given an office in Nairobi to operate from, has a history of trying to eliminate black people. The executive behaves like it is a law upon itself. That is why the Janjaweed can be given an office in Nairobi at the whims of an individual and claim that the people of Kenya have welcomed the Janjaweed to come and run its genocidal government from Nairobi. It is extremely sad, end of quote. Now, honorable senators, Standing Order 1051 states as follows: A senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. Further, Standing Order 1052 states as follows: if a senator has sufficient reason to convince the Speaker that the senator is unable to substantiate the allegation instantly, the Speaker shall require that such senator substantiates the allegations not later than the next sitting day, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121, unless the senator withdraws the allegations and gives a suitable apology. Honorable Senators, various senators rose to make comments on the point of order raised by Senator Osotsi MP, including Senator Edi Okech, who further sought the intervention of the Speaker to require Senator Omtata MP to give evidence that indeed the Janjaweed is based in Kenya or otherwise has an office in Nairobi. To Senator Dr. Boni Khalwale, MP, who gave information in support of Senator Omtata's argument that the Janjaweed is a terrorist group that operates in the Sahel region of Africa, and 3, Senator Samson Chirange, MP, who informed the Senate on how the Janjaweed came to be and its metamorphosis to the Rapid Support Forces, RSF. Other senators who made comments to the point of order included Senator John Kinyo, MP, Senator John Methu, MP, Senator Okongo Omgeni, CBS Senior Counsel, MP. Honorable Senators, Senator Omtata's response to the point of order by Senator Osotsi, MP, was to refer the Senate to a URL, https://www.cfr.org/global-conflict-tracker/conflict-power-struggle-Sudan, despite being directed severally by the chair to submit the same as evidence for substantiation with the clerks at the table. His argument was that he had provided a URL as evidence for substantiation to the point of order raised by Senator Osotsi, MP. Senator Omtata subsequently walked out of the chamber while comments on the point of order by other senators referred to above were being made. However, although he had exited the chamber, the chair required Senator Omtata to submit evidence to the claim he made regarding the Janjaweed. At the subsequent sitting held on Thursday, the 20th February 2025, the chair, by way of communication from the chair, invited Senator Omtata MP to submit evidence in support of his claim referred to above. Senator Omtata MP maintained his argument that the URL he had uttered was sufficient substantiation pursuant to Standing Order 105. That being the case, I undertook to review the material and give a ruling on the matter, as it was not practical to make a determination then. Honorable Senators, from the foregoing, 2 items stand out for substantiation with respect to the point of order by Senator Godfrey Osotsi, MP. 1, who the Janjaweed group is in general, and 2, whether the Janjaweed has a base of operation or an office in Kenya. As you may recall, I have on several occasions issued communication from the chair stating that any document or evidence tabled by a senator in the Senate as evidence for substantiation of any allegations made, Standing Order 105 must pass a certain threshold. The obligation on the Speaker in such matters is to review the document or evidence tabled, determine the admissibility, establish whether the documents, if admissible, provide evidence of the claims made, and to finally make a ruling whether, accordingly, the threshold under Standing Order 105 has been met. In undertaking the foregoing assessment, the following are the parameters that guide the Speaker. 1, is the evidence tabled from a source from which, by parliamentary practice, is official and admissible? And 2, if the answer to A is in the affirmative, does the evidence relate to and verify the claim that was made and for which substantiation was required? Honorable Senators, you will appreciate that media has evolved over time across different digital platforms in the field of ICT. It is therefore imperative for Parliament and specifically the Senate to adapt to the changing technological times, and where necessary, amend its rules to accommodate digital electronic evidence. Having reviewed the URL uttered by Senator Mbotela MP, I now turn to the parameters of admissibility that I have referred to. As regards the first parameter, which is whether the evidence tabled or submitted was from a source which by parliamentary practice is official and admissible. Upon accessing the URL https://www.cfr.org/global-conflict-power-struggle-Sudan, it directs you to an article under the heading Civil War in Sudan by the Center for Preventive Action, published on the website of the Council on Foreign Relations, CFR, and dated the 3rd of October 2024. Upon review of the URL referred to above, it indicates that CFR is a nonpartisan independent national membership organization, think tank, educator, and publisher, including of foreign affairs. It generates policy-relevant ideas and analysis, convenes experts and policymakers, and promotes informed public discussion, all to have impact on the most consequential issues facing the United States and the world. The website appears to be the official website for CFR. There is no evidence to suggest that the contrary, that this document is accordingly admissible. Honorable Senators, the second parameter, which is, does the evidence relate to and verify the claim that was made and for which substantiation was required? The URL provided by Senator Mbotela MP sought to substantiate on who the Janjaweed group is and whether the Janjaweed has an office in Kenya. In the first instance, the information on the URL illustrates the conflict in Sudan and the players involved. It also highlights the various efforts at mediation and conflict resolution by players such as the United Nations, UN, and the Intergovernmental Authority and Development, IGAD. The article makes reference to atrocities committed by Janjaweed militia in Darfur and other parts of Sudan. It also makes further reference that RSF was created or has its roots from the Janjaweed militia. To this extent, the information satisfies the point of order by Senator Godfrey Osotsi on the need to know more about the Janjaweed. Honorable Senators, as regards the second part of Senator Osotsi's point of order, the article on the URL does not give any indication that the outfit has a base in Nairobi or has an office in Kenya as alleged by Senator Mbotela. Senator Mbotela needed to substantiate his claim by either giving a physical or postal address where Janjaweed has established an office in Nairobi. This has either been done by the senator, nor has it been indicated in the article submitted for substantiation. Accordingly, I find and rule that the claim by Senator Mbotela that the Janjaweed has an office in Nairobi has not been substantiated. In accordance with my findings and the failure to meet the threshold of substantiation pursuant to Standing Order 1052, I direct that the Senator to withdraw the remarks he made on Wednesday, the 19th of February 2025, and apologize. Honorable Senators, related to the process of substantiation required of Senator Mbotela MP on this matter, having reviewed the Hansard of the proceedings of Wednesday, 19th of February 2025, afternoon sitting, the Senator made the following utterances. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, it is shameful that you can stand there and read a sanitized version of events. Very many senators contributed to that motion, and unless you give a correct record of what happened, I am not going to be invited into that murky bubble in which you want this House to exist. I will not. The Senator went further to state the following. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I think we should conduct proceedings in this House in mother tongue. Now, honorable senators, I find these statements to be extremely disrespectful and condescending on the chair and to the House. Consequently, I direct the senator to proceed and apologize to the House, as this is a serious affront on the orderly conduct of proceedings and a risk to the dignity of the House. All senators, without exception, must conduct themselves with respect and decorum. I now invite Senator Mbotela to withdraw the remarks on the allegations made in the course of debate and apologize to the House on the disrespectful remarks. I caution, as provided for in Standing Order 1052, that failure to withdraw and apologize will be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121. Honorable Mbotela, the floor is yours.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity to address this House. The last time we were in this House, if the record of the Hansard will serve us right, I was told to bring the URLs I was referring to. It was not one. In your review, you have reviewed one URL, which was the second URL I had given. The first one was on Wikipedia, upon which Senator Khalwale commented. I still don't understand why you cannot give a full version of what transpired in this House. I don't understand why. I had a total of 12 URLs. I kept on being interrupted when I was substantiating. I thought when somebody is asked to substantiate, he's called upon to perform a solemn duty, which the House must listen to in silence, and accord the person challenged to substantiate the chance to substantiate. You cannot challenge me to substantiate, gag me and block me from substantiating, and then demand that I apologize for having failed to substantiate. I find that difficult to carry in my conscience. And so, Mr. Speaker, sir, I reiterate my position that the Janjaweed is in Nairobi. The RSF is a matter of public notoriety that the RSF...
Senator Mbotela, I'm trying to really accommodate you.
Approach the chair.
You need not. Ruling has been made by the chair. You have one option, either to withdraw or apologize, or you sit and wait further orders from the chair. Those are the only two options available, where we are now.
Well, I'm new, this is my first time in this House. If that's how this House operates, then for the sake of the people I represent in this House, and the need for their representation to be in this House, and not for my own sake, I will say that my conscience is not allowing me to say what I'm going to say. I'm going through this outside my body. I will take responsibility for the challenges this House has had engaging with me, and Mr. Speaker, sir, I will say that because I was denied the chance to table the 10 URLs which I was relying on, a copy of which I mailed to the Hansard office when they sent me a draft of what had been said here, I emailed an entire list of the 12 URLs to the Senate office. I gave a copy.
Senator Mbotela.
I will proceed. My Lord, if you don't want me to contextualize what I'm going to say, when I say I will withdraw and apologize, and if that pleases the conscience of this House, so be it. But it's a sad day for this country.
Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Variation of the resolution of the Senate on the report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the conduct of Senator Gloria Orwoba, MP.
Senate Majority Leader.
Here is a matter of a member who did not find difficulty in apologizing. Mr. Speaker, there is a variation of the resolution of the Senate on the report of the Committee of Powers and Privilege on the conduct of Senator Gloria Orwoba. That aware that on the 20th of September, that aware that on 20th September 2023, the Senate adopted the report of the Committee on Powers and Privilege and the conduct of Senator Gloria Orwoba and resolved to suspend the Senator from the President of Parliament, which period amounted 79 calendar days. Cognizant that Senator Orwoba subsequently sought judicial intervention, obtaining a court order that stayed the implementation of the Senate's resolution until the matter was determined, and that the High Court, in its judgment delivered on the 15th of January 2025, dismissed the petition, thereby reinstating the suspension. Considering that Senator Orwoba has shown a considerable level of remorse and that following the communication by the Speaker on Wednesday, 12 February 2025, on the implementation of the powers, on the resolution of the Senate on the report of the Committee of Powers and Privilege on the conduct of Senator Gloria Orwoba, MP, the Senator was apologetic for her conduct. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 17(3)(d) and G of the Parliamentary Powers and Privilege Act, the Senate resolves to vary its resolution made on the 20th September 2023, suspending Senator Orwoba from the Senate and the precincts of Parliament for 79 calendar days, and reduces the suspension period to 30 calendar days, commencing 12 February 2025 to 13th March 2025, after which the Senator shall be allowed back to the Senate and the precincts of Parliament on the terms resolved by the Senate on 20th September 2023. Mr. Speaker, this is a request that I want to make to the House via this motion, that once a colleague has approached us in the way that Senator Orwoba came to realization that her conduct was not in line with what is expected of a senator, and has since apologized to the House on record, Mr. Speaker, the way she did on the day that she was asked to leave the chamber, Mr. Speaker, that I want to call upon the collective wisdom of colleague senators to consider reducing the sentence from 79 days, which is almost 3 months to have a colleague out of the precincts of Parliament, to 30 days, which is at least 1 month, Mr. Speaker. She'll have served the sentence. And even then, Mr. Speaker, the final bit of this motion is that when she resumes, she will actually do other things which the motion that suspended her required of her to do after the 79 days. So actually the only reprieve that this senator is asking, or that I want to request colleague senators to pass in this House, is to reduce from 79 to 30 days, calendar days. It's a humble request to colleague senators that I want to request that we be fair and accord. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I want to request my brother, the Minority Leader, Senator Retired Justice Stewart Mazzaya, to second this motion. I thank you.
Just one moment, Minority Leader. Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the public gallery this afternoon, visiting teachers and students from Kisiara Girls High School in Kericho County. The delegation comprises 8 teachers and 103 students who are in the Senate for a one-day academic exposure. Honorable Senators, in our usual tradition of receiving and welcoming visitors to Parliament, I extend a warm welcome to them, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, wish them a fruitful visit. Majority Leader, would you take a minute to welcome them, and Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to welcome these students from KBC Girls Secondary School in Bureti Sub-County, one of the top performing schools from the county, Mr. Speaker, who are here on a visit to the institution. I do hope that they have enjoyed the full value of the time that they have taken. They have seen us debate, and what you have just seen your senator do, Mr. Speaker, is to move a motion, and the seconder is about to take to the floor. Mr. Speaker, after their visit, as is the tradition of this senator of theirs, I will walk behind to greet them and wish them safe travel back home. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Bomet, did you want to welcome them as well?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I initially wanted to bring to your attention the fact that they were just about to be asked of the public gallery, and I do want to appreciate the intervention that you took so that they also feel the presence of being welcomed by their senator in the House. I want to join my neighbor, Senator Aaron Cheriot, who is the Majority Leader of the House, in welcoming them to this House as well. I know that you have learned a lot by just even being present here. I equally will join him, being a good neighbor, to welcome you behind the chamber of the Senate. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader? Minority Leader, you can second the motion.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Mstahiki Spika, kitu cha kwanza ni kwamba yule ambaye alikuwa amefanya makosa na ikabainika wazi ya kwamba kweli seneta alikuwa amefanya makosa, seneta yule aliweza kuomba msamaha wakati alipatikana kuwa na hiyo hatia. Na kawaida, Mr. Speaker, unaona ule ugumu wa mtu akiwa amekosea na akiwa hajui, na akiwa amekosea na akiwa anajua. Mr. Speaker, wengi huwa pengine anaweza kukataa kuomba msamaha, ama wengine wakaweza kuomba msamaha. Sasa hivi tayari ndugu yetu Mtata alikuwa hapa, na amesema ijapokuwa akijivua yeye nguo yake anaweza kuomba msamaha, lakini kwa vile ambavyo ameona ajigawanye mara mbili, akasema yeye pia amesema pole sana na ameomba msamaha.
Senator Mazayo.
Na hii Senate ikamsamehe.
Senator Mazayo, kwanza Senator Omtata hakusema lolote kuhusu kuvua nguo yake. Kama unaweza kurekebisha hiyo matamshi yako.
Kujitenga mwili wake na vile
sema hivyo, umesema kuvua nguo.
Pole Bwana Spika, pengine ulimi uliteleza. Ndio nikasikia sauti ya Sifuna akicheka sana. Bwana Spika, kila binadamu hufanya makosa, na kila binadamu huwa anaweza kuomba msamaha ama kukataa kuomba msamaha. Dada yetu Oruoba Gloria aliweza kuomba msamaha. Kwa hiyo mimi sioni jambo gumu la kwamba kutakuwa na mushkil ambao hatuwezi kumsamehe. Mimi nimeona zile siku walizokuwa wamepewa siku 79 za kama kuadhibiwa, na alipoomba msamaha sisi sote tulikuwa na mioyo mikunjufu na tukakubaliana. Na mimi naona ya kwamba kugeuza zile siku na kuzipunguza ili dada yetu aweze kurudi, seneta mwenzetu, naona hakuna shida. Kwa hiyo mimi naunga mkono taarifa hii ya kuweza kugeuza kutoka kwa 79 ifike 30 ili dada yetu aweze kurudi kwa nyumba yetu ya Senate, aendelee kama kawaida yake kusaidia Wakenya katika maisha yao. Asante Bwana Spika. Naunga mkono taarifa hii.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that aware that on 20th September 2023, the Senate adopted the report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the conduct of Senator Gloria Oruoba MP and resolved to suspend the Senator from the precincts of Parliament for the remainder of the second session of the 13th Parliament, which period amounted to 79 calendar days. Cognizant that Senator Oruoba subsequently sought judicial intervention, obtaining a court order that stayed the implementation of the Senate's resolution until the matter was determined, and that the High Court and its judgment delivered on 15th January 2025 dismissed the petition, thereby reinstating the suspension. Considering that Senator Oruoba has shown a considerable level of remorse and that following the communication by the Speaker on Wednesday, 12 February 2025, on the implementation of the resolution of the Senate on the report of the Committee of Powers and Privileges on the conduct of Senator Gloria Oruoba MP, the Senator was apologetic for her conduct. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 17(3)(d) and (g) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, the Senate resolves to vary its resolution made on 20th September 2023, suspending Senator Oruoba from the Senate and precincts of Parliament for 79 calendar days, and reduces the suspension period to 30 calendar days, commencing 12th February 2025 to 13th March 2025, after which the Senator shall be allowed back to the Senate and their precincts of Parliament on the terms resolved by the Senate on 20th September 2023. Honorable Senators, we shall allow debate on this matter. Senator Joyce Korir. Can you give Joyce Korir the mic?
Yeah, asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Yangu ni kuweza kusimama na Mheshimiwa Gloria kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, kila mtu hufanya makosa. Na katika kielezo imefafanua ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Gloria ameweza kuomba msamaha, na ndiposa ningependa kusema Mheshimiwa Spika, najua kila mtu hufanya makosa. Sisi wote tuatenda makosa na ni mzuri pia kusameheana ili tuweze kutekeleza majukumu ambayo iko miongoni mwetu. So kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, ningependa kusimama naye na niseme aweze kurudi hiyo tarehe ambaye imeandikwa ya tarehe 12. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Senator Tabitha Keroche.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, also for giving me this opportunity. And I also want to rise and support the House and what they've seen to pardon Gloria for the mistakes that she made. But I hope, even as we forgive her, and we didn't want her to come back on that March 12, is just to ensure that the persons that were affected by her utterances. She's written letters to them just to apologize to them on a personal level, because some utterances, I think, affected even people with families and all that, if I remember very well. So mine is just to say that I just hope that she took to her point to ensure that she's written a letter to the people that were affected by her bad utterances on a personal level, because as a senators, we'll forgive her because of the letter that she wrote for an apology. But we don't want to forgive her and we move forward and then leave other people behind, especially the people who are affected by her bad utterances. And then also this one will also set an example that you cannot just be talking bad things about people, and then you just write a letter and apologize. So there must be some measures taken just to ensure the people who are affected, whether she really apologized to them on a personal level, then of course bring the letter that she brought in the house. But we as a house, we need her in the house, so we'll always welcome her and support also that we forgive her, but we ensure, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we ensure that the people who are affected by these utterances have been apologized to on a personal level, so that even as we walk the journey, all of us, we were walking together. And I remember some of them are the people that we rely on, who are the clerks of this house, that they need to be apologized to. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Murgor.
I too thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also join my colleagues by saying that I concur with their views that she should be forgiven, and to miss the house for more than 2 months would have been very long for her, and a lot would have gone under the bridge, and she would have missed a lot. And so the reduction to 30 days is really very appropriate and good enough for her to learn the lesson that she needs. And I would also, my view is that I hope she learned a lesson that she will not walk the same path again when she comes back. Because it's one thing to ask for forgiveness and change, attitude change, her ways change, her language, and it's another to be forgiven and yet go the same way again. So it's my hope that she has learned enough and will change the way she talks, the way her attitude towards others, so that it's not something that will just be like a play. So I join to forgive her and to welcome her back. Thank you.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, I want to say from the onset that whilst I have no opposition to the proposed course of action, perhaps the majority leader, who unfortunately I did not have opportunity to speak to prior to the introduction of his motion, could address, because we are a house of record, could address legal and constitutional principles behind the decision that the House wants to take. First of all, I've looked at the section of the Powers and Privileges Act that you have invoked. This is section 17, 3D and G of the Powers and Privileges Act. It has no reference at all to rescinding decisions that have been passed by this House. And also in the standing orders, perhaps you can also demonstrate to us, maybe when you're replying to the motion, how this sits, because you understand that there are grievous matters such as when a bill says rejected in this House, in terms of the time period within which it can be reintroduced. And also, lastly, Honorable Speaker, perhaps the majority leader in his reply can also speak to whether the subject of the attacks, the victim themselves, have said anything on this matter, so that as a House, we also don't appear as if we are taking one side of the story. And it would be nice to know whether there's any communication from the persons affected by the conduct of a senator, so that when we're making that decision, we make a decision out of appreciation of the full facts. So those are going to be my only comments, Honorable Speaker. We don't need to belabor. I thank you.
Very well. Senator Kinyo. John.
Asante, Bwana Speaker. Kwanza mwanzo nitaka kukubaliana na hayo maombi, lakini ni vizuri nikubaliana na Senator Sifuna ya kwamba hata ijapokuwa ndio tunamsamehe Senator Gloria, lakini yule ambaye tayari alikuwa ameadhiriwa na yale matendo, yeye anasema namna gani, Bwana Spika? Kwa sababu ukifanya makosa na umejuta makosa yako, yule ambaye ulimkosea pengine unapaswa kumuomba msamaha na yeye mwenyewe akubali ule msamaha, kwa sababu ndio sisi kama Seneti tunaweza tukakubaliana, lakini yule ambaye alikuwa ameadhiriwa bado ako na ule uchungu. Bwana Spika, pengine ni vizuri hata yule ambaye alikuwa ameadhiriwa, huyu seneta ambaye ni Gloria amuombe msamaha, kwa sababu kitabu kitakatifu cha Mungu kinasema kile ambacho huku duniani kimesamehewa hata mbinguni kimesamehewa. Kwa hivyo mimi nakubaliana na wenzangu, lakini kwa sababu Bwana Spika, yule ambaye ni 100% ni Mwenyezi Mungu peke yake, ni vizuri hata sisi tusamehe, kwa sababu leo ni mimi, kesho ni wewe. Kwa hivyo ni mtindo mzuri kwa watu kusameheana, kwa sababu tukiwa katika dunia hii naweza nikakugwarusa, kesho unigwaruse, na ule uzoefu wa kusameheana utakuwa ni mfano mzuri sana kwa katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na vile vile kwa sababu leo tumekuwa tukijadili huu mswada wa Leonard Mambo Mbotela, itakuwa ni ungwana kwetu sisi kuwasamehe wenzetu. Nashukuru Bwana Spika.
Very well, I think the mover can reply. Oh, sorry, Senator Sige.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. As I rise to also make a comment on the motion by the leader of majority, Mr. Speaker, it should not lost in us that the Honorable Senator Gloria did indeed exercise her right to seek for judicial intervention, and a finding was made by the court. As to her choice not to pursue an appeal against that decision which went against her, could be a revelation on her part as to the importance of seeking to apologize before the House, because that decision she was seeking to challenge was occasioned by the decision of this House. And as much as the House had made a decision to punish her for a period of 79 days, in the presence of an apology on her part to the members, I believe including the victim of the actions that led to the punishment by the House, is sufficient in the circumstances, particularly where the mover of the motion has not completely proposed that the punishment be rescinded, as it has only been reduced from 79 days to 30 days. From where I sit, Mr. Speaker, having a colleague who has, without hesitation, sought to be forgiven by the members, all who could have been or could not have been affected by the decision that was made, should be considered, and the period of punishment be reduced as proposed by the leader of majority. And so, as we consider this, I am very sure that the majority leader will also be able to speak to a few of the issues that members have raised here in the context of a decision having been made, and also the position of the victim of the utterances that led to the subject that we are debating this afternoon. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for granting me the opportunity.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very difficult issue for me to speak about, because I am a new member of this House, and as a new member of this House, I depend on the different legal instruments of this House on such matters. And one of the things that I never want to vary is the wisdom of the leadership of the House. When such motion has been sponsored by the majority leader, I never want to vary that, because there is wisdom in that leadership. That's why you have leadership in the House. So perhaps what will guide my judgment in supporting or not supporting this motion Number one is just guidance from the majority leader that the decisions are made of this magnitude in this House. Do they merit as functus officio? I.e., under Article 125 of the Constitution, where powers and privileges comes and pronounces itself, then we make a judicious decision. Fundamentally, it means that that decision is made in the context of a high court of Kenya. That's what the Constitution gives us the power to do. Because there were evidence that were required when the Honorable Senator sat in the Powers and Privileges Committee, which then falls within that Article 125. So the question in a layman's language is, once a court has made this decision, can it eat that decision? Can it come back and vary that decision? If I'm guided so as a judge, I can be able to talk about it. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the matter was further escalated by the Honorable Senator to the real courts. You know, we are a quasi-judicial house, but the matter was escalated to the courts, and the courts had a pronouncement on this matter. And I know that on the side of minority side, the leader of minority is a former judge. So again, my wisdom cannot in any way dispute whatever guidance he will give us on our side as a minority. But when the matter was escalated to court, and the court made a pronouncement on the matter, can we vary the pronouncement of that court and say that regardless of the fact that the court pronounced itself that the senator must serve the entire term, is it still our decision, or is it still the decision of the court? Then lastly, Mr. Speaker, is on the very important issue that the Senator of Nairobi, the Honorable Senator of Nairobi, Senator Sifuna, has raised, which is the issue of the matter we are looking at here was not about the senator, was about the senator vis-a-vis senior staff members who are serving the institution of Senate and Parliament. And to the effect that there were allegations made by the Honorable Senator. Does apology, for which the backdrop, because you opened that window, which I think we should not have opened after the court decision, but because it was opened and that apology was given to her to make, that apology in his assessment, does it mean withdrawal of all the allegations against those members of the staff, to the extent that we need to be judicious, not only just to the senator, but also to the staff members who are involved? So would that mean, by extension, that there will be a requirement, whether a pseudo requirement or an active requirement on the side of the senator, to actually withdraw all those allegations that were found to be baseless? Because then, that way, I think then will be a house that is fair to both parties that are involved in this issue without by any bipartisan nature. And I think that it might not be a question of just voting. Majority Leader, if I may beg, I think that this is just not a question that we might just discuss on the floor of the House, but also might need a wisdom on a small kamkunji, perhaps, where we can be able to discuss and see how we also maintain and protect the sanctity of the House, because we are setting a precedence for future generations. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this motion by Majority Leader. Now, I will not be long on this issue. Honorable Speaker, this matter was decided in court, and I wish to bring it to the attention of the Senate, just in case the Senate is not aware. I think another case on this matter is still pending before the courts. My suggestion is that before we make a decision, because this involves a matter that might fall within character assassination of an individual, I don't know whether, as the Senate,
we have the capacity to forgive on that matter on behalf of somebody who's not even before the Senate to be able to express themselves. My suggestion is that we get the JLAC committee to give us a view on what this means, and I pick the JLAC instead of the director or the Directorate of Legal because it is a matter between a senator and member of staff. And I'm suggesting that a committee of the Senate be the one to look at these issues and to advise on whether we have the capacity or capability of giving the resolve or the reprieve that we want to give as we are proposing. Honorable Speaker, I also suggest that we actually need a policy in Parliament on matters relating to sexual harassment that touches on members of Parliament, so that we are able, I have read the policy on sexual harassment following what has happened in this House. I have read the policy on sexual harassment for Bunge, and that policy only covers members of staff. I think we need to move the Parliamentary Service Commission to actually put in place a policy and procedures on how to handle matters similar to this matter, because part of the challenge by the affected senator was that they did not have confidence in whatever process that we had. But having gone to court, they elected, or they were not able to persuade the court in the manner of this procedure. So my view is that it will be unfair for us to step in the shoe of the affected person and purport to make a decision on their behalf on this matter, having decided. And I think we can revisit it, and I personally have no problem in forgiving anybody, but I think we need the JLAC to give us a view on what they think, how they think we should handle this matter. Thank you.
Mover to reply, Majority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank colleagues who have taken time to speak to this particular matter. Mr. Speaker, indeed, it's an interesting matter because it's not one that I'd have very strong feelings about on how a member decides on this particular issue. Because at the end of the day, I believe an apology that has been rendered and the punishment that this House rendered on the offenses that were committed by Senator Gloria Orwoba are personal. Therefore, if a member feels that indeed that particular member has owned up to their mistakes and has requested the House that they be given a lighter punishment, not that they are not punished completely, but be granted a lighter punishment. It is on that basis, Mr. Speaker, that I moved the House to reduce the sentence and the Senate to vary its resolution. There are a few things that have come up which I'll attempt to respond, Mr. Speaker. First is what Senator Sifuna raised with reference to the motion coming back to the House within a period less than 6 months. Mr. Speaker, sir, this motion was moved actually on the, to be specific, on the 23rd of September, 20th of September 2023. Therefore, it's far more beyond the 6 months period upon which you can bring a motion separate to the one that had earlier been resolved. Secondly, Senator Sifuna also inquired on the provisions cited, Section 17, 3D and G. The reference to them was to the punishment, not that the House has powers to do. Actually, the punishment that was meted to Senator Gloria by this House is in reference to those specific, that she be asked to leave the House for a certain period and also being asked to apologize. That is why, Mr. Speaker, in the final part of the motion, I have stated that there is a term there that when Senator Gloria Orwoba returns, should members agree with this motion, she will be admitted to this House on terms resolved by the Senate on 20th September 2023. So you have to ask yourself, what were the terms? If you have observed previously when a member has been kicked out of this House, it's also a very difficult experience. It's not something as easy as just walking back to the house. When she comes back, it is almost similar to the first day we came to this house, where you have the rostrum placed at the door there, and they formally apologize to all the people that they have wronged before the house finally agrees that they be admitted back. So, Mr. Speaker, it's not like we are making this sentence lighter. I have listened to Senator Catherine Muma, and I think there are two things perhaps you may need to remember. There were two cases on this matter. The one is where she contested the decision of the Senate, to which a full determination has been made, and the courts agreed with the decision of the Senate that actually we acted rightfully within the law to suspend her. And that's why the sentence now holds. The second matter is now the issue that you're referring to, where members are saying there's an individual who was maligned, there's an individual whose name was tarnished. That matter is still active before the court. And there is no way in which this decision, one way or the other, is saying that that matter before the court be ruled this way or the other. What we are resolving as a House, Senator Muma, is on the issue of the number of the days that she served the suspension. Is it 79 days or 30? And I felt, together with after consulting with colleagues, and said, the punishment she will serve anyway, because it needs to serve as a lesson. I continue to see sometimes us disrespect our own authority as a House, because every time I do something that is disrespectful in this House, Mr. Speaker, I am disrespecting the collective standing of this House, Mr. Speaker, before colleague senators and even before the country. Therefore, I want to agree with the decision that was made by the powers and privilege that for her conduct, Senator Gloria Orwoba must be punished. The only thing that we have requested you is that after having punished her, and given, in fact, the only thing that I reference to is the fact that she has since formally, or when granted an opportunity by the Speaker, apologized to the House, meaning that she has admitted that there is a way in which she behaved that was not up to the standing of a senator before all of us. Then I said, if that be the case, then I'd rather request the House that we review, not to waive the punishment, but just to review it from 79 days to 30 calendar days, which I find, Mr. Speaker, to be a fair ask of us colleagues, because like they say, to err is human, Mr. Speaker, that we can all sometimes mess. This does not in any way, Senator Eddie, take away the rights of the individual that you're speaking about, the clerk of the Senate. I'm sure that particular matter, and I wouldn't wish to speak long on that particular issue of the dispute between them, so as not to appear as if you are in support of this or the other particular person. I believe, because he strongly feels that his rights were violated, Mr. Speaker, that is a matter that is before the court. What is before us is a review of the punishment that this House passed on her. Remember, there is a case between the person who's accusing her, that she maligned her, and a case between her and senators, because senators felt that she had behaved inappropriately, and therefore senators punished her. This request is on the matter of the senators and the Senate of the Republic of Kenya versus our colleague, where we are saying, since our colleague has publicly come before us and said, I apologize, then let's review that particular sentence. I thought that will be clear and in any way does not prejudice the other matter that is between, that is in the courts, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, with those main remarks, I beg to reply. In accordance to Standing Order number 66, Mr. Speaker, I beg that we defer the putting of a question, given that I can see the number of people that are in the House, Mr. Speaker, wouldn't be sufficient to take a vote. And this is one such matter also where I would wish that when you are taking the vote, you have as many senators as possible in the House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Whenever the universe hovers above the gracious souls of mankind, a soul passionate in critical human interest matters ranging from healthcare to education and agriculture, among other areas, might perhaps also be hovering over the precincts of the August House in Nairobi, Kenya. The soul of the late Malava MP, Honorable Malulu Inendi, who passed away at Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi on Monday, the 17th of February 2025. The condolence messages have been subsequently flying beneath the cloud of grief and deep memories of the departed people-centric servant, chairperson of the Parliamentary Service Commission and Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Dr. Moses Wetangula. In his condolence message, noted that the departed legislator loved education and made his voice rather clear whenever opportunities arose, even in areas such as reforms in the sugar sector. In his message, the Speaker recounted the three-term MP as a tireless and effort-oriented legislator who contributed to legislative processes, particularly in the education sector and sugar industry reforms, aimed at improving the lives of Kenya and the Kenyan people. Noting that the departed legislator would be greatly missed in and outside the House, the message was echoed by the President, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, who noted that the departed legislator was a diligent, focused, and devoted servant of public service. The head of state added that the former MP would be best remembered for, among other things, his passion for education. Leader of Majority Party in the House, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, noted that the late Honorable Injendi's dedication to serving Malava constituency was unwavering, and that the commitment to uplifting his constituents was an inspiration to all who had the privilege of working alongside him in Parliament. At the National Assembly, where the former MP served as Vice Chair of the Departmental Committee on Education, the committee chairperson, Honorable Julius Meli, recounted his years of service with the departed MP, adding that, and I quote, "We served together in the 11th, 12th, and now the 13th Parliament." As Vice Chairperson of the Education Committee in the National Assembly, he was dependable, honest, and diligent. His unwavering commitment to public service and education made a lasting impact. His leadership, wisdom, and dedication to his people were truly admirable. In tandem with Article 95(4) of the Constitution of Kenya, that mandates the National Assembly to exercise allocation, appropriation, and oversight over revenue and expenditure of the national government and other state organs. Departmental committees, which are the engine to execution of this mandate, have for the past few days been busy at work, revising the 2025 budget policy statement in regard to ministries, departments, and agencies under their respective oversight mandate. On Monday, the 24th of February 2025, the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Lands held a meeting with the Principal Secretary at the State Department for Lands and Physical Planning, the Honorable Nixon Korir, and separately with officials from the National Land Commission, led by Chairperson Mr. Gershom Otachi and the CEO Ms. Kabale Tache, for review of the two entities' budgetary projections for the 2025-2026 financial year against their ceilings, as captured by the National Treasury in the 2025 Budget Policy Statement, popularly known as the BPS, which is a central policy document that sets out the broad strategic priorities and policy goals that will guide the national and county governments in preparation of their budgets for the next financial year and over the medium term.
I am aware, Honourable Chair, that the second supplementary is before Parliament. I want to ask this committee that we've pleaded for reinstatement of our initial budget that was removed in the supplementary one, so that we can be able to execute some of the things that you can see we've not done.
And the committee members had their questions to the entities.
What I'm gathering from both the CEO and the director, who come from the same institution, is that when the field officers do their work, they must travel there to confirm whatever they have done. So my biggest question is it that these field officers are not competent or they are not trustworthy, such that they cannot be around to take responsibility of their reports? Number two, Chairman, and very worrying, I've had my friend and the director say that they discourage the CECs from sending one.
I would not say that we don't have competent staff. However, we lack the technical capacity in the counties. So if only we can have enough planners, enough land administrators, then we can be able to rely authoritatively on the report generated. In the absence of this, we still receive reports from the county coordinators. That is verified at the headquarters by the Director Land Administration, and many a times we find gaps in the reporting. So that's what necessitates us to go back to the ground to verify, just to avoid any fraud happening in the process.
We now have the titles for Kipini, which is part of this, which was supposed to be issued by the President actually, I think on Thursday. We have titles for Kipini, we have titles for Weru, around 6,000. We have titles for Mijikenda, which is part of the settlement. If we ask the same report, Honorable Chair, next month, we will have surpassed the 8,000 targets that was given to us.
Why should we target you almost double to 14,000? Again, you can see here on number of parcels, you targeted at 50,000. You achieved 9,514. Why should you target 200,000 compared to what you achieved here?
You know, we're just looking at these figures. We don't know the basis under which you are giving a target of 200. Given the fact that when you had a target of 50, you were only able to achieve 9,000, which is not even a quarter. It could be just around 1/5 of your initial target. And we are saying that it's not so realistic that you can move from 50 to 200 when, you know. So, but when we have information, then it becomes easier for us to understand and even conceptualize on how you're going to achieve this. Maybe on your remarks, that's the kind of information we require.
Well guided on which.
Then proceed.
In the BPS, the State Department for Lands and Physical Planning has a budgetary ceiling of Kenya shillings 8.8 billion, representing an increase of 35.8% compared to the allocation of Kenya shillings 6.5 billion in the 2024-2025 financial year. NLC has a budgetary ceiling of Kenya shillings 3 billion in the coming financial year, representing an increase of 69.1% compared to the allocation of Kenya shillings 1.78 billion in the current financial year. More specific emergent land issues of concern also came up during the two separate meetings.
Tulipeana mashamba yetu ijenge barabara, na sasa wananchi wangu wanalia, wanasema hawajawahi lipwa. Mheshimiwa Chair, hii pesa ni 1.7 billion, hiyo barabara yote, na wale wamelipwa tumeona katika hiyo list yao, wale wanalipwa, mtu mmoja analipwa 1.7 billion, one person. Hawa ni watu thousands wamekosa kulipwa 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. Nyinyi mnajua hata mnaharibia rais.
And I'm very sure we have already compensated so many new projects on the same. I think we have no any excuse other than allocating money to clear with the Kitui people.
Sometimes we even receive patients who are dying. They have cancer patients. They need to go to India. They have no money. Mutomo Kuwesi. There was even a case of Mutomo Kuwesi, a mother going to India. me and Beth, I think we had to go out of our way just to do undertaking for that woman to go to India. Because we have to put our records that this woman, when the money comes, we replenish our accounts. So we go extra mile with this, but it's actually it's a concern to all of us.
The committee is expected to now draft a report on the BPS with regard to the budgetary projections of the two entities. A report the committee chair will defend before the National Assembly Liaison Committee, which is chaired by the House Deputy Speaker, and which is this time round processing the 2025 BPS, owing to the pending reconstitution of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. The Liaison Committee will subsequently table a report after deliberations with all the departmental committees on the BPS for debate and approval. The BPS is critical as it gives an assessment of the current state of the economy, including the macroeconomic forecasts as well as the priorities of the government current pillars of growth and strategic directions, which are critical as the National Treasury subsequently drafts its policy on the revenue-raising measures to fund the budget.